Hey guys, today we're going to be taking a look at Apple's new iPad Pro, the one that came out in late 2018. As of this video, this is the latest entry to Apple's iPad lineup, and it's an incredible tablet. It's fast, it's reliable, and the overall presentation is phenomenal. But all of this speed and luxury is definitely not my definition of affordable, and you're still limited in terms of what you can do with this device. So why would anyone want one of these? Let's check it out. So obviously, the most notable change in this year's iPad Pro lineup is in its hardware. The home button's gone, so the user interface is completely reliant on gestures, and the bezels have really shrunk, resulting in an outstanding screen-to-body ratio where you get a nice, large display in a relatively small form factor. Speaking of the display, the new iPad Pros come in two sizes, a new 11-inch configuration and then the usual larger 12.9-inch configuration that's been around since the first generation iPad Pros. The configuration you're seeing in this video is the 11-inch model, but just keep in mind that a 12.9-inch model exists as well. The only differences between the two iPad Pro configurations are their screen sizes, screen resolutions, and the amount of memory that you get. If you get either the 11-inch or the 12.9-inch models with 1TB of storage, you also get 6GB of memory. Lower capacities only get 4GB of memory, but since these devices are running iOS, that 2GB difference really doesn't matter all that much in my opinion. Other than those three things, both iPad configurations are pretty much the same. Depending on how you see it, that might be a really great or a really unfortunate thing. I think it's great since all you have to think about when getting an iPad Pro is what screen size you want and whether or not you want more than 64GB of storage. Anyway, on all models you get an Apple A12X Bionic as your processor. That's an octa-core ARM processor that runs at a clock speed of 2.49 GHz, 4GB of memory unless you get the 1TB model, so don't forget about that. A 12-megapixel rear-facing camera, 7-megapixel front-facing camera, 4 speakers that sound really nice, a buttery smooth 120Hz display, and a single USB Type-C port. So this generation, Apple decided to put USB-C on the new iPad Pros, and I think that was a really good decision. With the right power bricks and cables, the 2018 iPad Pros can charge much faster than its lightning-based predecessors. And charging files over to your laptop using a physical cable is a much faster experience now. In addition to all of that, the new iPad Pros with this USB-C port can now connect to an external 4K display and take advantage of that display's 4K screen resolution. So this isn't anything new. You could always connect iPhones and iPads to external displays using a Lightning to HDMI cable or something else, but the most you could possibly get out of that is just a full HD projection, 1080p. The only problem with 4K projections from the new iPad Pros is that not too many iOS applications have been updated to take advantage of any external 4K display output on these new devices yet. The only iOS application that I kind of use on the new iPad Pro that properly takes advantage of 4K displays over this port is iMovie, and well, I don't use iMovie to edit videos, so I'll never be dependent on that setup. There are apps on the App Store that have been updated to support USB-C projection to 4K displays, but none of the apps that I currently use do this, so that feature is basically useless at the moment. The cameras are great. I love the rear-facing camera on the 2018 iPad Pros. They're not like groundbreakingly good, but it's on par with the iPhone X camera, so I wouldn't be afraid to use it if I needed a camera, and this was all I had. It shoots 4K video at 60 frames per second, Full HD slow-mo at 240 frames per second, and the audio quality is outstanding, so it's all good stuff here. Now, let's talk about the keyboard. I'm using the Apple Smart Keyboard Folio, and honestly, I don't like it all that much. I've gotten used to it, but it took me a while to get comfortable. It's definitely a much more enjoyable experience on the 12.9-inch iPad Pro, but even that is still plagued with some annoyances. To start off, the keys are rounded squares and have really odd spacing. I wish that the corners weren't so rounded and that the keys were bigger. Secondly, and more importantly, this keyboard is not backlit, and that's such a huge missed opportunity. I'm sure there will be third-party keyboards for this device that will be backlit, but if you're a sucker for first-party accessories, then this will really annoy you. The Folio is nice, thin, and looks durable, but it's hard to use at night, hard to use in bed or on your lap, isn't backlit, and feels cramped if you get this for the 11-inch iPad Pro. Honestly, the Surface Pro type cover is drastically better than this thing. The display is one of my favorite parts of this device. Videos and photos are nice and vibrant without compromising color accuracy. Blacks are reasonably deep too, so that's cool. Viewing angles are alright. There is a brightness shift when looking at the new iPad Pro from certain angles, but it looks like the colors are still consistent, so that brightness shift doesn't really bug me all that much. Now here comes the best part, arguably the best part about the new iPad Pros, the new Apple Pencil. So prior to the 2018 iPad Pros coming out, I've had the unpopular opinion that Microsoft's 2017 Surface Pen was better as an active stylus than the first generation Apple Pencil, but I had the information to support my argument. I had always acknowledged that the first gen Apple Pencil had slightly better response times, better pen tilt support across applications, and had absolutely no software-oriented jitter issues, which the Surface Pen greatly struggled with. However, the Surface Pen had more levels of pressure sensitivity, programmable buttons, one of which was an eraser, a better range of tilting angles, magnetic storage solutions, better pen tip varieties, writing friction, and it didn't charge in a ridiculous manner. So I had always argued that the Surface Pen was the better of the two. Plus, I confidently felt as if the real-world uses of the Surface Pen was superior. But today, the tides have really turned. The second generation Apple Pencil is amazing. It's got magnetic storage solutions now, it has a tap sensitive button, which is really slick, I actually love that feature. A real pencil aesthetic is here now, no more of that glossy junk that the first gen had. It still has no software oriented jitter issues, and the way that this pencil charges is so convenient. I literally appreciate almost everything about the second gen Apple Pencil. It's crazy fast, it's really fluid, and in fact, maybe too fluid, and I'll talk about that in a second, and it feels much more like a writing utensil than the 2017 Surface Pen, which I've always had an uncanny romance for until now. But here's the thing, the new pencil still doesn't have the writing friction that the Surface Pen has, and that's still annoying. Without any special screen protectors or writing film, the second gen Apple Pencil still feels like it's ice skating on top of the iPad Pro's display. And because it's so responsive, even the slightest slide of the pencil tip across the display will be interpreted as an Apple Pencil stroke. So if the tip of the pencil happens to unintentionally slip or glide across another area of the iPad's display, that's going to leave a stroke and will definitely be annoying if you're taking notes during a college lecture or you're drawing with Procreate or something similar. Trust me, it happens more often than you think it will. However, this is a case of the pros heavily outweighing the cons, so even though the ice skating pencil is still a thing, I still love the second gen Apple Pencil. So, are the new 2018 iPad Pros worth looking into? Quite honestly, I don't think that there is a good definitive answer to this question. Without a doubt, the new iPad Pro is an aesthetically perfect media consumption device with an unparalleled note-taking experience and unmatched battery life for a tablet. But this thing is definitely not for everyone. Despite the Pro in its name, I don't really see this as a Pro device without a proper file system nor mouse support. As it is right now, I'd imagine that most people would have a really hard time finding any kind of real professional use for this device, or any iPad for that matter. It's a great media consumption device though, and the updated Apple Pencil opens up a ton of opportunities and creates new levels of comfort for prosumers alternatively. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you really want an iPad Pro, you need to know what you're getting yourself into, because you're going to be paying a premium for something that can't exactly satisfy everything that a person could possibly need to do on a computer. The 2018 iPad Pros could replace your laptop, but remember, this is not a laptop, it's still just an iPad. It's an engineering wonder this generation, but it's not going to do you anything more than accomplish your more simple tasks quickly, like web browsing, emailing, taking notes, writing essays, or maybe articles and simple books too, consuming media like watching YouTube videos, drawing, and the list could go on. I think that if you want one of these, you should ensure that you have plans to get the new second generation Apple Pencil as well, because without that, your iPad Pro experience will feel incomplete. And I think that the new Pencil experience is the biggest reason why anyone would even want to look into the 2018 iPad Pros in the first place. And on another note, don't expect this device to be replacing anything. For most people, this will likely be an addition to your pre-existing collection of technology. So that's all. Thanks for watching my review of the 2018 iPad Pro. Drop a like if you liked it, subscribe if you loved it. My time is up, so I'll see you guys again in my next video.